I thought I'd share this little moment. Uh, I go back in time to 1986. And yeah, I figured I'd throw this up. Not only was this a great album for me. Let me show. Yeah, we got the songs here. Love Aces High. 2 minutes to midnight. My two favorite songs on this. Lost for Words. Flash of the Blade. But don't get me wrong, I love listening to this whole album. And also Power Slave. Title track to the album. Back to the Village. All these albums, all these songs were fucking great, awesome. But Lost for Words and Flash of the Blade really took into me. Because every time I listened to these two songs, I'd be into like another dimension. I'd be like in that convertible that I always wanted. I did get, but believe me, I screwed it up having it. But, no big deal. I own one and I'll get one again another day. But it's just on the highway, cruising at top speed in a convertible, Yo, back. And these two songs, man, especially Lost for Words, it's a instrumental song and probably one of the best. I put it up there in ranks with... Hey! Hang on a sec. Goddamn dog. But I put it in the ranks up there with, like, Frankenstein. And Joe Satriani. Joe Satriani. And his album, Surfing with the Alien. These instrumental songs and Def Leppard's song there, after Bringing on a Heartache on Pyromania. There's very few instrumental songs that could be out there that could make it just without no words. And I guarantee anybody that listens to that one, if you don't dig it or even like it or become one of your favorite songs, there's something wrong with you. You don't know music. And, back in this time, man, I was watching, like, Conan the Barbarian. Every time that would come on, I'd be watching it since the day it came out in 1982, for Christ's sakes. But, I don't know, for some reason, like the movie Beastmaster, all these movies were coming out. And I felt like I was in that time. When 1983 broke loose with Dio and Holy Diver, Last in Line, these songs were like bringing me to another world, especially this album. Don't get me wrong, all them other albums are friggin' great. But this one, when it came out in 1984, really hit me. And of course, the story, man, that I got behind it even hits me harder. And out of all the things, it's got to do with my mother that just passed. And lately I've been listening to Iron Maiden. And of course, I went to this album. Hey, get over here. And oh man. Don't get me wrong, I've been listening to this freaking album for eons. Even online, I've pulled it up quite a few times. But now that my mother passed and the story behind this album, oh man, brought fucking tears to my eyes. Choking up right now. Because, all I can hear is my mother screaming through the fucking door, bang, bang, damn it, shut up! And, and the most funniest part about it, she's the one that bought me the album. And, she made it known that she should have never bought me this album. Because when I first got it, man, oh, and before that I had gotten Life After Death. And for some reason, this album and that Live After Death, excuse me, I would sit there and fucking stare at the cover, Live After Death. Eddie coming out of the ground with his fist clenched. The moon, the stars, the night. And I had this album in the background blaring. It just brought me into this zone, this place where I wanted to be. Because that was around the time, that I started to go into some deep depression. And this album helped me. All albums from the 80s helped me a lot to stay alive also. But with the story behind this, and when I first got it, man, I remember the first night I had the old-fashioned record player. It was long. I'm gonna put it in the description box. And I have my old model that I had a trike with a skull in the back of it that I made myself. I was heavily into models back then too. And nowadays, damn, they're like $30. But Jesus, I used to get them for $5 with tax. And so I got this album. My mother bought it for me. Oh no, she gave me the money. Yeah, gave me the money to go buy. I begged her for that because I needed to listen to this album. Because with Iron Maiden just coming into my life and all these, Eddie fucking visions right here, as you can see, I was just fascinated with it. Like I said, after Live After Death, I seen this album. So, oh man, I gotta get that. Reminded me of, Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer. I just wanted to know what this album was like, and wouldn't you know, it brought me back to that time. And I would have these, albums and watching the movies and, all kinds of shit. But one night I was sitting in my room and I'm looking at the Live After Death album. Shop! Hey! And this one was blaring. I had it halfway up. And my mother kept going by the door. Bang, 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 bang. It must have been like at 8 o'clock at night, right? Because I think I got the album around 6. It was 5 in the afternoon or whatnot. Walked home, put it on. I was playing it all that time. 2-3 hours straight, and I'm flipping the record, playing it, blaring. I gotta go to work tomorrow. Boom, boom, boom. And I had a lock on my door at the time. And for a week, she was bitching. I should have never gave you the money for that. I should have never gave you the money. All of a sudden, wouldn't you know, next Friday, payday, she came in with a fucking pair of headphones, right? These big-ass headphones. Bought them at the store. She said, I don't want to hear that record player again. You put these things on, I want to smash it. I'm like, what? I'm laughing at her, right? But, oh man, when I started listening to this album, like maybe just, like 5-6 days after she passed, man, it brought back the memory of that, and I was just, oh man. But this album, even before my mother's passing, and the story was just, awesome to friggin' have been and lived the time of this era of the 1980s. Hell, I even like a lot of the 70s, a lot of the 60s, don't get me wrong. I like a lot of the 50s, the Big Bopper, stuff like that. The Healy and the Comets. I like all kinds of music, stuff like that. Elvis, whatever. It all comes and generates. But even the blues with, B.B. King and stuff like that. But when I came into this time and era, though, and got this album, it was like I wanted to be there. I wanted to be back in that Conan the Barbarian time, man, where you can just walk the lands and do as you please, and you don't get arrested, but you get killed. But if you're well enough off with a good reputation back in them days, you'd be left alone. But it was just a time where I wanted to be out of this world, because sometimes reality these days and in the past, even back then, man, just sucked. Sometimes reality ain't good. You need a place sometimes to take yourself away from things. And music, man, it did that for me every friggin'. I got like 1,000 tapes in the attic that I still got to do some videos on and go through. But it's like looking at them like, damn, I'm going to have to just go quickly through them, because I can't spend too much time on that. Oh my God, I'd be there all friggin' for at least a year. But I'm going to get back into that too sometime soon. But like I say, man, this album's awesome. I recommend anybody, especially Aces High, But my favorite on this album is Lost for Words, man. Brings you on a highway in a convertible, like near a beach. When you're just driving and the song just rips you through. And I mean, it feels like a long song too, man. And it just glides you through whatever you need. Yeah, it's a plane, Ted, yeah. Wow, the moon's got a ring tonight. I'll have to record that in a minute. But anyways, I wanted to share that story because, back in them days, man, heavy metal and my mother didn't click. And every time a chance I could get, yeah, blare that shit. Then she got me some headphones, so then I remember falling asleep with that shit, man. Just blaring in my ears. I'd be waking up, oh shit, I fell asleep. Get home 4 in the afternoon, wake up at 6. I'm like, stay up all freaking night. Got my music though. Awesome. I recommend anybody to check this album out if you haven't yet. Damn good album. Iron Maiden, everything they wrote. Melody, lyrics is awesome. Get out there, check it out if you haven't already. I recommend it. And like I say to anybody, if you don't like any of this music, there's something wrong with you. You don't know nothing about music. Especially the lyrics in this stuff, boy. All the meaning to it. Hope you enjoyed that story. Rest in peace, my mother. Till that next video, be safe, take care, and try to get some music in your life if you're feeling down and out. That's another thing that lead me to that damn friggin', suicide crap. Get some music in your life. It'll make you feel better in another world. But, hey, out.